Catholics has ever claimed relics have magical powers. The sacramental system is the opposite of magic. In magic, something material is regarded as the cause of something spiritual. A lower cause is expected to produce a higher effect. The sacraments and derivatively sacramentals and relics don't compel God to work in a certain way. Their use depends on God, who established their efficacy. Their effects are divine, not natural in origin. It is God who sanctions the use of relics. It is not a matter of priests overpowering God through their own powers, which is what magic amounts to. The classic argument against relics is phrased in terms of relics of the true cross. If all alleged pieces of the true cross were gathered together, it is said there will be enough wood to build a schooner. What about it? The charge is nonsense. In 1870, a Frenchman, Rohault de Fleury, cataloged all relics of the true cross, including relics that were said to have existed but were lost. He measured the existing relics and estimated the volume of the missing ones. Then he added up the figures and discovered that the fragments, if glued together, would not have made up more than 1/3 of a cross. The scandal wasn't there was too much wood. The scandal was that most of the true cross, after being found, was lost again. Are some relics spurious? Are there fakes? Yes. But in most cases, relics are either known to be genuine or there is some reason to think they may be genuine even if complete proof is impossible. Take the famous Shroud of Turin, which scientists have been examining for some years. The more honest scientists admit that their experiments cannot establish that the shroud is the actual burial plot of Christ. They admit that it is impossible, but they also say they might be able to eliminate the possibility of faker. They apparently have demonstrated that the shroud was a burial cloth that was wrapped around someone who was crucified in the same manner as Christ. At about the same time he was crucified and in the same area where he was crucified. Will there always be room for doubt for those who seek it? Sure. And if that's the case with the Shroud of Turin, it is more the case with other relics that have undergone less scrutiny. The skeptic will always be able to say, this might not have been so and so, and we'd have to admit that's true. There might have been a mistake or fakes might have been substituted for the real relics. We evaluate relics the same way we evaluate the bona fides of anything else. Did George Washington really sleep in particular bed? We have to do some detective work to find out. We may never know for sure. We may have relied on probabilities. On the other hand, we might have incontrovertible proof that could be disbelieved only by the crackpot who insists George Washington never existed at all. It is the same with relics. Some are beyond reasonable doubt. The authenticity of others is so highly probable that it would be rash to doubt. Others are probably authentic. And some, yes, are improbable, though we wouldn't want to toss out even most of those, in case we err and toss out something that really is a relic. Keep in mind that the church says about relics. It doesn't say that there's magical power in them. There's nothing in the relic itself or in any sacramental. Whether a bone of Peter or water from Lourdes that has curative ability. The church just says relics are the occasion of God's miracles. In this, the church follows Scripture. Wrong, says critic. Even if relics can be shown to be genuine, we shouldn't venerate them, because Scripture is silent about relics. Is that so? Let's look at what Scripture says. The bones of Elisha brought a dead man to life. Elisha died and was buried at the time. Bands of Moabites used to raid the land each year. Once some people were burying a man when suddenly they spied such a raiding band. So they cast the dead man into the grave of Elisha, and everyone went off. But when the man came in contact with the bones of Elisha, he came back to life and rose to his feet. A woman was cured of a hemorrhage by touching the hem of Christ's cloak. The sick were healed when Peter's shadow passed over them. So extraordinary were the mighty deeds which God accomplished at the hands of Paul, and when the face, cloths, or aprons that touched his skin were applied to the sick, their disease left them, and the evil spirit came out of them. If these aren't examples of the use of relics, what are? In the case of Elisha, a Lazarus-like return was effective through the prophet's bone. In the New Testament cases, physical things such as the cloak, the shadow, the handkerchiefs, and the aprons were used to effect cures. There is a perfect congruity between present-day Catholic practice and ancient practice. Anyone who rejects all Catholic relics today as frauds should also reject these biblical accounts as frauds.